Hi, and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner, where I share 5 dinner ideas with you guys, hopefully to give you some inspirations or ideas just to get you through this week. As always, the recipes and videos will be in the description, so go ahead and check that out. And let's get started with this week's What's for Dinner. So on this day, we started with bean and cheese burritos with red rice. I started by refrying my beans. Of course, if you guys need a video on how to cook pinto beans or how to refry them, I will put those videos in the description. And then just warming up our flour tortilla, and then we added mozzarella cheese, and we also added Kobe cheese, and then we just made them into burritos. And then on the side I made some red rice. This is my burrito, and I actually added some hot sauce that I had in my fridge, and this is what the plate looks like. This dinner is actually very simple, but sometimes simple is actually really good. So on this day we had potato and chorizo sopes. We started with 2 Costco sized potatoes, so that would equal like 4 regular ones, peeled and diced. And then I have a little bit of oil to my pan on a medium heat, diced up the potatoes equal sizes, and then I'm gonna let these cook about 25 minutes on a medium to low heat with a lid on. And then while those are cooking, on the side I'm gonna use a red onion, and I'm gonna slice them as thin as possible. And then I'm going to add them to a container with a lid on. And then once I get the whole onion in there, you can use as much or as little onion as you want. I'm going to add hot water, and I'm going to try to cover this all the way to the top. I'm going to put the lid on it, and then I'm going to let it sit for about 10 minutes. Then after that, we'll drain off all the water, add salt, and then I'm going to add a lemon, the juice of a lemon. If you want this spicy, you can cut a chile habanero or a chile serrano or any kind of chili and put it in there, and that will also give it really good flavor. Now my potato is fully cooked. I'm just going to check it with a fork, and then I'm going to remove it from the pan and put it on the side. I'm not seasoning my potatoes because I'm using a whole tube of chorizo. The chorizo that I'm using is beef. They have beef, they sell chorizo, soy chorizo, and they also sell pork chorizo, but I prefer beef. I add a little bit of water, and then I'm gonna let this fully cook. The reason I do not season my potatoes while I'm cooking chorizo with it, because chorizo has a lot of spices and salt already in it. It's pretty salty to me, so I don't add any salt to the potatoes. And then once the chorizo is fully cooked, it does have a lot of fat in it, so I try to let that cook in with the potatoes and mix that up. And I just try to fold the potatoes in since they're already fully cooked and I don't want them to turn into a mashed potato. You can easily have potato and chorizo in burritos, but we're gonna be using the sopes for today. This is what it looks like once I turn off the heat. They're still warm, but just the fat already solidified. And then here to a separate pan, I have a little bit of oil, and then I'm just cooking up my sopes. These are made out of masa. They're like a corn tortilla masa, and they're these little shells. I definitely needed to use more oil, but I didn't. And then we're going to start by layering them. You can do any toppings that you want. I'm going to start by adding the refried beans. You can even just leave it at the refried beans if you want to make those kinds of sopes. But here I'm doing potato with the chorizo for today. And then you can add as many toppings as your heart desires. I like different ones, so for today we started with the beans and then with the potato and chorizo. And then to that I'm going to add some cut up lettuce that I have, and then I'm just going to top that off with lettuce. And then you can add any cheese of choice. I'm going to add a queso cotija, which is a dry cheese similar to Parmesan cheese, but it doesn't taste like it. It just has a strong smell to it, but it's pretty good. And then I have a salsa molcajete that I made. I will link down that video if you guys are interested, or you can add any hot sauce of your choice or skip it. It's totally up to you. These are just ideas that I am sharing. And then I'm going to be adding the salsa on top. And then this is what the onions look like after they've been sitting there with the lemon and the salt. Pretty good. You can definitely add other seasonings to it if you want, and vinegar, but I just keep it simple like that. And you can add this to different meals during the week. And I added the red onions, and then you can do regular sour cream, but I bought this crema, so I added a little dollop of that as well. And this is what the sopes look like. This is what we had for dinner. You can do ground beef ones, you can do carne asada ones, you can do picadillo, which is ground beef with potato. Different kind of toppings of sopes that you can do, and this is what we had for dinner on this day. And you pick them up and you eat them like that with your hand. You can use a fork too, but traditionally you eat these with your hand. And that's what we had for dinner. So on this day was a pool day. We had quesa tacos. I made carne asada and al pastor on the grill. Every time I'm grilling, it reminds me of my husband. And this is what the tacos look like. These are the al pastor one. I buy the meat all marinated already. The girls are having so much fun in the pool. I had the leftover salsa, so I added that to my tacos, and I just chopped up some onion and cilantro. And either I pack sandwiches to the pool or I pack something that I can easily grill. And these kids are hungry, so I had plenty of food, and we actually had leftovers the following day, which was pretty nice. And that's what we had for dinner. On this day I made crepas. So I have shared how to make this recipe, so I will link it in the description. So starting off with 2 pounds of ground beef, I add minced garlic and also seasonings that I like. And then to my blender, I have tomato, I have onion, I have water, I have garlic cloves, and then I also have chicken bouillon to that. And then I'm just going to blend that up. I'm going to add this to my fully cooked ground beef. I'm doubling my recipe just because my kids prefer to have leftovers. They really enjoy this meal. And then I'm going to mix this up pretty good. And then I'm going to let this cook for about 30 minutes on a medium heat, just so that we can get the raw taste of the tomato and the onion and the garlic fully cooked. Makes a really big difference. And then I'm going to add a lid to that. So then after it's already cooked the tomato flavor out, I'm going to add a bell pepper. My mother-in-law shared this recipe with me. This is one of her recipes. I've never heard of Grapas before. So it's a savory dish, and she adds green bell pepper. One time I did add red, and that was a big mistake. It makes it too sweet. So I stick to the green one, and then I add cream cheese to it. And makes it really creamy and really good. I think that's what my kids really enjoy. Just a very simple dish and has many layers and flavors to it. So after about 15 minutes that bell pepper is fully cooked and nice and tender, now I'm going to add the cream cheese to it and let that melt. And this pretty much melts in about 5 minutes because it's on and it melts pretty quick. Just mix that up. And after that, it's pretty ready. I serve this with corn tortillas. This is the way my mother-in-law taught me. I just placed it in a little bit of oil just to soften them up, like quick 5-10 seconds, and then flip it and then pull it out. This is just to soften and flavor the tortilla. You don't want to make like a tostada. And then we're just going to layer them. And this is the way I serve them up. So you can see pretty creamy. I think a little extra cream cheese went in there, but it's okay. Makes it really good and creamy. So then after it's ready like this, I'm going to layer it up. You can do 2, 3. I don't think we've ever seen someone make 4. My mother-in-law served 4 layers, but you can eat as many as you want. So this is ready, and the next day it tastes even better. It's pretty good. So here I have this what my corn tortilla looks like. And then I'm going to add the layer of the ground beef. Just place that on top like so. And then you can put as much as you want. And then add another corn tortilla on top. And then you add an extra layer. And then you cut it and you eat it. It's pretty good. And that was dinner on this day. This is ground beef Grapas. Pretty good. On this day we had birria with red rice. I started off with cutting my beef and then adding it to a pot, and then I'm also adding an onion and some bay leaves. And then I add my blended sauce with the chiles and the spices and garlic cloves. And then I'm gonna fill the rest of my pot with hot water. And I'm gonna let that cook for about 3 hours. And then I have some diced up onion, cilantro, and some hot salsa to go with the quesabirrias. Usually we serve our birria in bowls or in quesabirrias with the corn tortillas and the cheese and the shredded beef already, onion and cilantro, and then the hot salsa. I do have a separate video teaching you guys how to make this birria. It's actually really easy and simple, and the best part, it is delicious. I share how to make the salsa and what kind of cut of meat I used. If you guys are interested, you can check that out. And then I have received comments and pictures from viewers that they've already made this birria and they actually really enjoy it. So don't just take it from me, take it from them as well. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to send me those pictures and also sending me those comments that you guys have made these recipes and that you guys actually enjoy them and how simple it was to make. This was my mother-in-law's recipe that she shared with me. This is what my plate looks like. Really good. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's What's for Dinner, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Look at those delicious quesadillas with the consomme, little lemon, onion, cilantro. Thanks for watching. Bye.